How's it going? Woo! I am Gala Darling. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm going to talk a little bit before Denise comes on. And I'm going to talk to you about abundance from a different perspective and what wealth really is. Because to me, it's not just about cash, even though obviously cash is great. There's so many other ways that we can be wealthy and abundant and feel good in our lives. So I wrote a book 2 years ago now called Radical Self-Love, which is, which is all about living a really good life and allowing yourself to take risks. Because when you feel good about yourself, it's easier to take risks in your life and feel good about those risks that you take. But really, my whole thing is about letting women know that they have choices. A lot of us are running on this kind of subconscious script that we were given when we were really young, and we're kind of living this not very fulfilling or exciting life. So my whole shit is like, you have choices, let's make awesome ones, and so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So I have this friend, and she's this beautiful mermaid girl from the West Coast. I love her. She's amazing. And I talk to her almost every day. We leave each other voice memos in the morning, which is a really good way to communicate with your friends, by the way. Really fun. And she and I talk about love and relationships all the time. Like, this is her thing. This is her area. She's obsessed. And she was in my apartment this week talking to me about a date with this guy, and did he text her back, and what's that about, and talking about the polarity between masculine and feminine, and we're really getting into it, having this really interesting conversation. And my boyfriend happened to be in the kitchen making himself some breakfast, and he was listening with like a slightly bemused look on his face. And a few hours later, he said to me, "Do you know what her problem is?" And I was like, "No. Why don't you tell me what her problem is? Because I would love to hear," and so would she. And he said, the problem is that she doesn't know what she wants. She's dating these guys, but she doesn't know what she wants in a relationship. So she's never going to find what she's looking for because she doesn't fucking know what she's looking for. Everything else is just details. This stuff about did he text her back and like how did the date feel and what was the energy is just a distraction. What she really needs to know is what she wants, and then she'll be able to find it. So in the spirit of that, and by the way, when I told her that, she was like, "Oh yeah, that's true actually, I don't really know what I want. It's really good advice." She was like, "You've got a good boyfriend. Can you tell him that I say thank you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So in the spirit of that, I want to encourage you to think about what it is you really want, because we don't always take the time to do that. And one of the reasons that I love doing rituals and really celebrating like when the moon is full or when the moon is new is because it reminds me to take stock of what's going on in my life. In a full moon, I think about, what has happened over the last month? What worked? What didn't work? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to release? And in a new moon, I think about what new seeds do I want to plant? What do I want to create? Where do I want to go? And today is the new moon in Libra. Yes! And Libra is ruled by Venus. And Venus is the planet of beauty and love and art and partnership and relationship. So this is a really good time to think about what we want to bring in those areas of our lives. Because it's not just about cash. Even though cash is awesome, there's so much more to it than that. So here's what I would like you to do. If you have a notebook, I would love for you to look at you, studious, beautiful. If you have a notebook, amazing. If your friend sitting next to you or someone doesn't, pull out a page and give them one. And if you don't feel like sharing, or your partner doesn't feel like sharing, grab your phone and open a note or email yourself, and we're gonna do a really quick little exercise to get you in tune with what it is you really fucking want. Because let's not beat around the bush here. All right, are you ready? 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 Okay. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to write down 4 headings on this piece of paper. And yes, you can totally do it on your phone. The first heading is mental abundance. The second heading is emotional abundance. The third heading is physical abundance. And the fourth is spiritual abundance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through each of those categories. I'm going to give you some examples of what abundance in that area could look like for you. And then I'm going to give you like 30 seconds or so just to brainstorm it and write down whatever comes to you. And this is not like your final answer. You are not signing a blood pact. It's cool. You can change your mind later. But the idea is just to get your mind working and thinking about what abundance would look like for you in these areas. So for example, let's start with the mental abundance category. So to me, mental abundance means being creative. It means setting boundaries in my life and then upholding them. That feels abundant mentally to me. It's being well informed about my industry or what I'm passionate about. And it's also taking the time, finally, to read that big stack of books that arrived from Amazon that I have never tackled. Yeah? So I'm going to give you a few seconds just to write down some ideas of what mental abundance would mean for you. So thinking about like your creativity and your mental activity, what would that look like if that was a really abundant area in your life? And if you come up with something genius, I would love for you to yell it out because I would love to hear what you're writing down. Otherwise, I'll never know. Lots of mental space. Yeah, definitely. Anyone else? Self-care. Fuck yes. All day long. Although that can fit in all 4 of these categories, actually. Anyone else? Focus. Yes. So focus is great because you can train it, right? Like you can put your phone on airplane mode and be like, I'm not looking at this until I get this done. That's been working really well for me lately, by the way. Okay. Everybody got a few items on their mental abundance list? Mindset shift. Beautiful. Yes. Choosing a new thought. Creating a new neural pathway. That's some amazing stuff. Okay. Next category is, I feel like I'm on a game show, I wish I was. Next category is emotional abundance. So here are some ideas of emotional abundance from my perspective. So emotional abundance to me is having an awareness of my moods and what triggers them, and then having like a game plan for how do I deal with this when it happens. If I know such and such is going to make me feel anxious, what can I do preemptively to deal with it? Or if I'm in it, what can I do to change it? Like, do I have to put on Beyonce's Ring Off and then dance around the room? That always works for me. Emotional abundance can also be having a regular gratitude practice. It could be feeling the freedom to truly express your feelings to people rather than swallowing them down, which so many of us do. I see a lot of heads nodding. And emotional abundance to me is also friendship. Seeing my friends and laughing my ass off with them is emotional abundance. Any other ideas while you jot it down? Yes. Honesty with your partner. Yes, absolutely. Because without it, what do you got? Nothing. Nothing. Anyone else? Compassion for yourself. Beautiful. Anybody else? Yes. Presence with my kids. Definitely. Anybody else? No judgment. Beautiful. Gabby Bernstein's new book, Judgment Detox, comes out January 2nd. I'm not plugging her officially, but it just felt relevant. Okay. Let's talk about physical abundance. So here are some ideas on that front. For me, that's like looking the way I want to look, which means going to the gym, eating consistently, even when I just don't want to, and it's so boring to eat more chicken breast. It's got to be done. Physical abundance to me is also at least 1 orgasm every day. Can I get an amen? Okay. And it's also, this is such a big one, getting enough fucking sleep. Right? Any other ideas? What do you got? Safety. Yes. Anyone else? Flirting. Yes. That's hot. Anyone else? Shaking it. Definitely. Anybody else? Laughter. Beautiful. Okay. You guys have a few things on your list for physical abundance now? Okay. All right. So finally, our category is spiritual abundance. So for me, these are some ideas. That means time to meditate in the mornings and like devoting myself to a spiritual practice and making it regular. Because to me, it's all about the consistency. It's not just doing it once a week. It's like keeping it up, right? It's also a gratitude practice, so that was under emotional as well, but a gratitude practice can be spiritual abundance too. And healing yourself, taking the time to do the things that are going to make you feel good. So it could even be like getting a massage or going to a sound meditation or seeing a shaman. I did all 3 of those things last week. It was amazing. I feel so good. Can't you tell by my jacket? So anyone else have some ideas of spiritual abundance and what that would look like? Ritual, yes. Intuition, yes, listening to it. I have people ask me about intuition all the time, actually, and they're like, how do I don't really hear it. It's like, if you're not hearing it, it's because you haven't paid attention to it for so long that it's just like, fuck it, I don't care. So you gotta, when you hear it, pay attention and act on it, and then it will get louder and louder. Anyone else? Being in nature, yes, absolutely. Lovemaking, beautiful. Forgiveness, yes, awesome. Okay, so you have your items, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I want you to take a moment to really visualize what that would look like for you. What would physical abundance look like? What would emotional abundance look like? What would physical abundance look like? And what would spiritual abundance look like? And I want you to see yourself engaging in all these acts and doing these things. And see yourself glowing and feeling really, really good. And I want you to feel it with your whole body until you feel like you're tingling. When you feel like you're tingling, I want you to grab the person next to you's hand and squeeze it excitedly, like several times if you want to. And keep your eyes closed and keep visualizing. And I'm going to count to 3, and when I get to 3, I want you to like yell out operatically or scream or something vocal. I need you to do something vocal, okay? Are you with me? All right. So visualize yourself, see yourself glowing and being like your most amazingly badass self. All right? Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes! Beautiful. Well done. All right. So as Denise is up here tonight talking about abundance, I want you to keep these things in mind, that abundance is not just about money, it's about how we feel and how we live. And you can have all the cash in the world, but if you're ignoring the things that your body and your soul and your mind is really craving, nothing will fill that hole. So I want you to think about abundance in a much bigger way from now on. Do I have your word on that? Can you promise me that you will start to do that? Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring out Denise now. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Hey. Hi. Thank you, lovely. Mwah. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Hi. Hi. I think I can spot a guy up there. Oh, yes. A couple of them. Oh, there's like 3. There's always like 2 guys in the room. So let's just get one thing out of the way first. I'm 5'4". I know I look shorter than I do on the internet. Lots of people always tell me that. It's like the first thing that people say when they meet me. They're like, "You're so short." I'm like, "No, I'm Madonna's height. I'm Madonna-sized." Thank you so much for having me here. I just want to tell you one thing, right? We weren't going to do tours at all in America. I was actually supposed to be in Necker Island like last week, and then the hurricanes happened, and it was really funny because I was like, I'm just going to go to Necker, and then Mark's going, well, you have to fly via Miami. You may as well do an event in Miami. And then he goes, oh, but actually you have to fly into LA, so you may as well do that. And he goes, and when you go home, we have to fly via Dallas, so we may as well do there. And then he goes, but you can't go to America and not go to New York. So that's why I'm here. The last time I was here, it was October 2012, Hurricane Sandy. Yes, and I got stuck in New York for an extra week, and I had an event. I thought I'll send out an email and see who wants to come to an event. and I had 4 people there. And now we've got, I think we have 330 of us here tonight, so which is very exciting. So thank you. Okay, so when I saw Danielle Laporte speak, she stood there and she goes, "I'm going to knock it out of the park for you guys." And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing to be so confident and just have that like intention for the talk. And then I saw Susie Orman speak. Anyone seen Susie speak? And she said, "I stand before you a very, very, very wealthy woman." And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then because I am such a reluctant speaker, I'll be so honest, and I'm such an introvert, whenever I want to start my speech, I kind of want to go, "It's going to be all right." I'm like, it'll be okay. Like, I'm sure I'll say some good things during the next hour. I'm sure I'll say at least one good thing. But that's what I want to almost start with, because I know you think you're here to see me, right? That's what you bought a ticket for anyway. You think you're here to see me, but you're really not. And that's the reason why, oh, hi, gorgeous. That's the reason why I can come and do this, because first of all, I pretend it's not happening. Like for the whole lead up, I'll be super honest, I'll pretend it's not happening until the moment I walk on stage. But the reason why I can handle it, and this is a tip for any introverts, is because I know you're not here to really see me. You're here to see a representation of what I symbolize to you. And I invite you to project whatever that is onto me that you need. So for some of you, you just need permission that it's okay for you to do bigger things in your life or in your business or in your world. Or it could be, you know what, she's kind of normal. Maybe I can do that as well. So I just invite you, use me however you would like to use me tonight, and hopefully you get what you need out of that. So I'm really happy that Gala started that, because a lot of people ask me the question, how do I, oh, you get a prize for that, I think. A lot of people ask me the question, how do I create $1 million business? Is that anyone here would like to learn how to do that? Okay, let me get my clicker. So, how do you create $1 million business? But that's not the question that I'm interested in these days, because, like, it's nice to have the money, but most of us don't need to make $1 million to feel happy and to feel wealthy. So actually the question that I'm asking these days is, how do we create a life of richness? And that's not always just about the money, for money's sake. It's about creating richness in different areas of your life. Who's feeling that at the moment? Just kind of like the need to just for something a bit deeper. Yeah, put up your hand. Yeah. Just something a bit deeper and a bit more meaningful than just the money. Hi, I'm seeing so many faces and I'm like, hi. It's fabulous. So this is richness for me. It's being able to travel with my family. Does anyone recognize where this is? Yes, right near our hotel. And our family values are freedom, adventure, and abundance. So for that, like the abundance definitely is about the money, but it's also about abundance of time and family togetherness and not stressing about money. It's not necessarily, always about the biggest bank account. But I would love to hear, what are some of the values in your family? Just shout them out. Creativity. Oh, that's a good one. Simplicity, fun, food. That's a good one. Time, absolutely. Passion, quality. And so for a long time, even though Mark and I have been together since 2003, we honestly talked about this from day one, because we're just those kind of geeky couples that had like a manifesto for our relationship. I'm just going to take this ring off because it's a bit clicky. But we weren't living it for a very long time. Well, first of all, of course, the abundance piece, that took a while to come in. But the freedom piece was so important to us. And Mark had a job that he liked. And I remember him saying to me, when you earn X amount of money, I'll quit my job. Has anyone's partners ever said that, by the way? Yeah. And I did it, and guess what? He was like, hang on, when you earn this amount, then I'll quit my job, and then this amount, and this amount, and this amount, and on and on and on. And he's like, when you have $1 million business, I'll quit my job. So I did it, and he didn't quit his job. And so I had to really sit down and just say, dude, these are our values: freedom, adventure, and abundance. We're not living the freedom piece. So he's been out of his job now for 2 years. He's been working with me for one of those years. And it's very interesting, let's say, working with your spouse. If that's a goal that you want to have for your life, it's both awesome and horrible. But it really hits that freedom piece. And what I sometimes want to say to women about that is I used to get really annoyed that he, while he was at his job, I'd go, why don't you have a side hustle? Why don't you start a blog in your spare time? Because I wanted him to create that freedom. And I was really resentful all the time that he wasn't doing it. And then one day I realized I am the keeper of that flame. And I have to make it happen. And I looked around at, my peers and my friends, and I just went, wow, we are strong enough to do this. We are strong enough to create lives of freedom and abundance and adventure for our families. But we have to be the keeper of those flames. Agreed? Yeah, because we totally can. So I want you to reignite that little, whatever it is for you, whatever those words mean for you, or if you do want to, retire your husband, if that's something that you really want for your family, you are responsible for that. You are the keeper of that flame. And that's why it's so important for us to come together as groups like this, because then we can talk about what that feels like. And you can see it from other women, and you can get energized to do it. And it's really amazing too, being able to have a life like this. Okay, so you're here. And when I mean here, I don't mean physically in this room, but I think more like here in this conversation about women and money and leadership and doing cool things. And I feel it deep in my soul that all of us have been really called to be here at this time. Do you feel that? You know that thing, may you live in interesting times? We are living in interesting times. We really, really are. And it's okay for you want to help more people and make more money, because that is what is going to change our world. Women like us having more money, having more purchase power. And that's going to change the world. That really is, and it's really going to make some huge differences in the world if people like us have more money. Because you know that some of the rich, greedy people who are ruining the world, by the way, they sleep like babies. They do. They are not stressing about things. They're not stressing like, am I really making the biggest difference I could make in the world? Is that person, do they think I'm a bitch for charging for what I'm worth? They are sleeping like babies. You know who's not sleeping like babies? Women. We're stressed and we're beating ourselves up that we're not being perfect, that we're not doing everything perfectly, all that sort of stuff. We're the ones beating ourselves up about it, and we can't, because we need that energy to create good things in the world. Let me just get a show of hands, and I want you to look around as well. Who in this room hires another woman in your life or business? And put your hand up if you would do even more of that, or put your other hand up if you would do even more of that with more money. Oh my, pretty much everyone, right? So even that, having enough money in your life to hire, what would you like to hire out? Cleaning. Yes, we do not get paid to clean the toilet. Write your book, don't clean the toilet, okay? What else? What else would you like to hire into your life or business? What, sorry? Nanny. Yes. What about someone to check your emails? What about someone to do graphics? All that kind of stuff. So can you see, we are creating our own economy of abundance. And don't let anyone tell you that's not real money, by the way. It's not play money. It's not monopoly money. It's not your cute little blog money. It's real money that is entering the economy. And I love it when we spread that money economy around other women. So who has bought something from a female-owned business recently? Yeah. And wouldn't you do even more of it with more money? Yeah, what's on your wish list? Courses? What else? Crystal jewelry that amazing woman on Instagram makes? Crystal crowns. Every time I see a crystal crown, I'm like, I kind of need that. I kind of need that. What else? What else would you buy and support the female economy? Yarn. Yarn people are crazy about yarn, right? It becomes a real thing. Yeah. You just buy more and more of it. What else? Clothing. Yeah, like bespoke handmade clothing by other women or creatives. What else? Candles, travel, retreats. Who would like to go on more retreats? Oh my God, exactly. So we're just creating this amazing economy, and I want you to just feel how real that is. Don't let anyone, I hear it sometimes people go, oh, this female economy thing, it's like, it's a house of cards, or it's just, they're all just paying each other. And it's like, that's how economies work. We are creating abundance, and that real money, by the way, that's circulating, that pays for real things, like ballet lessons for your kid, or your mortgage. That pays for real stuff. So we're creating real money. And that's actually one of the concepts we talk about in the boot camp, is where you see money as real and where you see money as not real. So for example, you might see your partner's salary or your old salary in your job. That was totally real, like legit real. Where do you see money as not real? Is it from a particular client and you think, oh, but it was such an easy job, like that's not really real money? Or maybe PayPal. Does anyone think PayPal money is not real money? It's totally real money, but it kind of doesn't feel real, so you're kind of like, well, that's just PayPal money, that's not really real. What else? What else do you see as not real money? What, sorry? Affiliate payments, that's not real money, that's fake money. Isn't this interesting that we do this? That we go, this is real and this is fake. And I heard it from a few people recently over doing these events where they were saying, yeah, I do see my business income as like just a little fun money. Yeah, and it's not, it's all real money. One of my money mentors, Kendall Summerhawk, she says that compartmentalizing money is just such a dangerous thing that women do, because we just discount ourselves and we discount that money as not being real. And we've got to step up around this. Okay, so yeah, I really do think, I 100% believe this. And it doesn't mean we're the only ones to save the world, but we've got to play our part in this. We've got to make sure that good people have money and good people have more money. Because money is very neutral, but for money to do good in the world, more good people need to have it. Let me ask you one last question on this. Who in this room has donated money recently to a charity that helps other men, women, and children? Put up your hand. And who would like to do way more of that? Because this is the way we operate. When we have extra money, or even sometimes when we don't, sometimes you just feel compelled. There's been so many things that have been happening, especially in this country the last couple of months. And I know there are people in this room who could not afford to donate, and they did it anyway. Because that's what we do. We want to make sure, and this always makes me cry even thinking about it, we want to make sure that other people's children are fed. Right? Doesn't that just hurt your heart when you know that other people's children are not fed? And so when we have more money, that's what we do. We help other people. And that's why women like this, women like us in this room, we're changing the world. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna ruin my makeup. Okay, so here's the problem though. Women like us, conscious, lovely, heart-centered women who want to do good in the world, we're playing too small. And how do I know that? Because I'm playing too small too. Put up your hand if you know that there are way more people that you could help than you're currently helping right now. More clients, more that you could do in the world, more charities that you could donate to, all that kind of stuff that wouldn't necessarily kill you to do, but there's just something that's holding you back from doing it. Tell me what that is. What is it? Lack of confidence. That's a really common one. It's like, who am I to do this? Or I'm not ready, or I'm not smart enough. What else? Habit. Yeah, just like playing small can be a habit, and the good thing is you can change those habits. Yeah. What else? You don't want to look like a bitch. You know what? You guys are not going to be surprised, but being called a bitch was such a trigger for me, like my whole life. And then I was like, why don't I call my company Lucky Bitch? And all my books Lucky Bitch, and all that kind of stuff. Because, yeah, we're so afraid to set boundaries or to ask for things because we're worried. Most of us are really worried that people are just going to think we're a big old bitch for even asking. What else? Fear. That's let's face it, that's the thing, isn't it? That's it. We're all scared, and we're scared of being called a bitch, or we're scared of succeeding, we're scared of failing, we're scared of so many things, and that's why we're playing small. The good thing is, though, when you come here, doesn't it make you feel good that you think, actually, there's a lot of people who want to do this and change the world? You're kind of like, oh, I'm actually not alone. And, look around, make a friend tonight. Make some soul sisters. Make friends with people who will have your back. And it makes the fear so much less, well, it has less power when you realize that. And I love the Lucky Bee community because I feel like it's so supportive. We want each other to succeed because we know it's going to just enrich all of us. But that's a big problem, that we're playing too small. Okay. What have you got on here that is holding you back right now? Everything? But what in particular? What's the biggest one? Okay, top one. Who is like a certificate, hoarder? A certificate, loose with your certificate morals? I actually said certificate whore at the last event, and then I felt really bad for saying it, but it was a bit slut-shaming on the old certificate. Yes. But, oh my God, stop collecting certificates. That doesn't mean you don't never do a conference or a course ever again. No way. I remember when Mark said, why are you doing another course? Don't you know everything by now? And I was like, And then I went, no, I'm a lifelong learner. But do you know what you can do? Learn and earn. And you can do another one as long as you learn and earn. Learn and earn. You can take certificates and collect them for the rest of your life, but you can't let it stop you. You can't let it be a procrastinating thing. Okay? You can't, because you will never implement that knowledge and help people with that. So you got to stop that one. All right. Oh, what about this one? I'm not a guru. Who thinks you have to be a guru before you can even start? Yep. I was when the calling came for me to do money work, but I was like, but I'm not Susie Orman. I'm not Oprah. I'm not allowed to talk about that. I have to wait for somebody to tap me on the shoulder and anoint me. And it does not happen. It does not happen. But who's read my article about being a contributor instead of a guru? Okay, so the premise of that is when I just realized, I was like, oh, I really love talking about money and women and money, so I'm going to let myself off the hook. I do not have to be the Oprah of money. I'm just going to be the Denise of money, and I'm going to contribute to this conversation. And it took the pressure off me. I was like, oh, I'm a contributor. I'm not a guru. Oh, thank God. So you just got to start with what you know. And later on, I'll take some questions. And in the last couple of events, people would ask, well, where do I start? And how do I do this? And how do I market? And I've just said the same thing as I'm going to say now. I was like, just tell your truth. That's it. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to get a marketing angle or anything. Just tell your truth and tell what you know. So if you've experienced something, tell people exactly what that is. And a lot of people say to me all the time, that, oh, I love your transparency. I love your honesty. And for me, I just think, well, I just told the truth. And that makes it the easiest marketing in the world because you know your truth, right? And that's the same thing. You don't have to be the guru of all gurus. And in fact, there's space for everybody. Now, I find it really hard to talk to brand new newbies in business necessarily. I can give them advice, but but it's so far removed for me, I can't really like give the in-depth and remember exactly how it feels. So in that way, there's someone else who might be like newerish in business than me that can really speak that person's language. And then when you graduate from that, you can move on and someone else can fill that slot and get their apprenticeship. Does that make sense? Yeah, so then it becomes like a nice cycle instead of thinking, holy shit, I have to help everyone, for starters, like everyone, and I have to be a guru or nothing. So you never even start anyway. All right, what else have you got on here? Not smart enough. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, and that's weird, right? Because I've met some really dumb people in business who were successful in business. I've seen people who are like presidents of countries, for example, who I don't know that like aren't that smart necessarily. But I won't go there, I promise. I won't. This is the thing that women do though. We think, oh, I have to be more ambitious than everyone else. I have to be smarter than everyone else. And that's not what it takes, honestly. It really doesn't. It takes, well, I always say it takes consistency, and that's it. It's so unsexy. I'm so sorry. And whenever anyone asks me advice on business, I'm like, well, just be consistent. And they're like, but isn't there like a shortcut? And I'm like, yeah, nope, there is not. And I was like that too with different things in my life. Losing weight, for example. You know, I remember asking a friend, like, what do you do? She's here, actually. She was like, I get up every day and I go for a run and I eat really healthily. And I was like, but I don't want to do those things. Like, is there something else that I can do? And that's the thing, we think that it has to be all super complicated and it's not. It's the consistency of anything. All right. So, I'm not ready. That's a big one. And I'm an introvert. I spoke about that anyway. Not a good excuse. You know what's great about being an introvert is the tools that we have now to be successful in business are amazing for introverts. So people often ask me like, but Denise, your videos go out to so many people. And I go, yeah, but it was just me in my room. I didn't have to talk to anyone to record it. And honestly, when I started my business, I went out and I did workshops. And it was hard for me as an introvert to do that constantly. But now there's no excuse. You can be the most introverted person ever and still have an amazing business and still help so many people. So it's just a bullshit excuse, basically. It really is. Okay, so now I'm confused about this because in Australia we call it snakes and ladders, but you guys call it chutes and ladders, right? But then when I was trying to find stock photos on an American site, they all had snakes on them. So I was like, you guys understand, right? You understand. So this is the thing about being in business. It is like a giant game of chutes and ladders. The problem is, though, as soon as anyone gets a very normal rite of passage, a lot of people actually throw themselves down the chute and they quit and they never play again. What I've really noticed the last couple of years is when you see all of those little rites of passages as actual wins, you get to climb up the ladder. They're actually not like a challenge at all. Let me give you an example. Who has got a book in here? Like you've written a book. Okay, who has, and Gala, I'd love to hear on this, have you got a 1-star review on your book on Amazon? Oh, you've got like 1 million. Okay, well, that's great. Because, yeah, it happens, right? It's a statistical probability that if you write a book, you will eventually get a 1-star review. It just happens. But we fear those things happening so much that most of the time we don't even then take the action. So who actually, because I just said who's got a book, who's got a book sitting on their computer almost ready to go? Put up your hand. Or who's like wants to write a book but you're really scared? Because we're often so scared of those really normal rites of passage. And when I got my first 1-star review, I didn't launch myself down the chute like head first. I was like, oh, yes, it's happened. And I didn't die. And it felt so good because I knew that I'd ticked it off. And I knew I'd graduated to a new level. Okay, and isn't that a great reframe? Then, oh my God, I'm such a loser. I've got a 1-star review. People hate it, blah, blah, blah. And it's so great because the 1-star reviews are always so irrational. all mine, go and read mine, they're always like, I don't like that she swears. And I'm like, you bought a book called Lucky Bitch. Like, it's got bitch in the title. And they're always from men. And I'm like, why did you even buy this book? It's so clearly girly. But then what's the next thing? Like, your first hater. And some people launch themselves down the chute and they never play again, ever. Other people go, oh my God, it happened. This is great. We do this in the boot camp, right? Those of you who are in the boot camp, we're like, high five, guys. I just got my first hater. It's the best thing ever. And then everyone's like, congratulations, that's so amazing. Right? That's why you need to come and join us in the boot camp, FYI, because you need to know that those things are just very normal rites of passage. They don't mean that you're a loser. It doesn't mean that you're not good at what you do. It doesn't mean that the universe is conspiring against you. Have you ever done that? You're like, this is obviously not meant to be. The universe is giving me a sign. And it's like, nope, everyone gets a hater eventually. It's just a normal rite of passage. What rite of passage are you avoiding at the moment because you're really scared of it? Trolls. Yep. Visibility. Because you've got to go one step layer into that, right? It's like, what are you scared of? Okay, someone from high school seeing you. Yeah, who's got that fear? Yeah, or an old boyfriend or something like that. Yeah, what else? What other rite of passage are you really freaking out about right now? Chargebacks, refunds. Yes, and so many people never even get to their first refund level thing because they're too scared. They're too scared to even put their course out there. So I want you to just to think, all of those things that happen, they're actually really great signs of your success, and they're definitely things to celebrate. So celebrate them not with your parents, by the way. Don't go, Mom, I got my first 1-star review, because your mum, first of all, she's so outraged on your behalf that someone did that, and she might go in. Don't tell someone who goes, oh, that really sucks. Maybe you should just get a job. And you're like, well, that's not what I wanted to hear. What you want to hear is, that's fucking amazing. You're amazing. Congratulations on hitting that. That's so good. Turn to the person beside you, give them a high five and just go, you're amazing. You're amazing. Yep. Yes. We have to have each other's back with this, because otherwise, you'll launch yourself down the chute and you just go, oh my God, that was so bad. And it's like, it's not. Okay, so I'm really worried about doing this because I've got Spanx on and I'm like, they're down to here. And I'm like, they're going to see my Spanx eventually. Should I just reveal them just so I tick that off? Yeah. There you go. Now I don't have to worry about that happening. I've ticked that off as a rite of passage. I can't remember what I was going to say. I'm sure it was really good. That's a shame. Okay. So here's another problem. Women, we're not taught to be rich. We're not. And there's statistics to prove that, and I'm really bad at statistics. By the way, I failed economics 3 times at uni. I had to do it in summer school. And I failed everything, basically. Isn't that weird? I'm such a... No, I failed all of my university courses, pretty much, except for marketing, because I could just make it up on the fly. But anyway, we're not taught to be rich, and there are stats around this that girls, we're taught to share. We develop things like feeling really guilty at a really young age. We internalize some of those lessons that we're given about money, that we're not good at numbers, and then that can translate to feeling like we're not good at money. Even just that things like money is a man's game. You know, it really is. And I've written about this book, in my book, but I grew up, single mom. We didn't have very much money, but I didn't really know, because everyone in my neighborhood, we all lived in government housing, everyone had the same house. Like literally the exact same house, and maybe it was like an opposite staircase kind of thing. And you'd be like, oh, this is how you've decorated this room, because everyone's was the same. And then my mum married a wealthy older guy, and we moved to his mansion. And it was really weird because all my friends, we all lived in the same house. And then suddenly, I lived in a mansion. And I had a motherfucking pony. And like a princess bed and a VCR in my room. Suddenly I was a rich kid. And my stepdad would drive me to school, and it was one of those really classic like 90s cars with the pop-up headlights. You know those ones? And I'd just be like, and I'd press my face up against the window so people could see me. Be like, and I had my 13th birthday party in that house. I had a pool party. It was like chandeliers, and it was amazing, right? The problem was that they had quite a volatile relationship. And so they were together for about 6 years or something. But every year or so they'd break up. And because my mum had no money, we would go from the mansion to like whatever dodgy apartment she could find at really short notice. So, of course, my friends who were sick of me bragging about my pony and my VCR and all that kind of stuff, all that stuff had to stay at the mansion. And I'd go back to this little apartment. And we've all got stories that have shaped our money, and yours might not be a rags to riches story. Yours, I mean, we have people in our community who grew up wealthy and still have tons of money blocks and money ideas and stories around money. And mine for a long time was men have the power around money, and I am powerless because I saw my mother be powerless about money. And I really thought I'd let that one go. And then about 3.5 years ago, because Willow was just born, we went to see a financial advisor because I was like, oh, this is what rich people do. They go see financial advisors. It felt really fancy. And Willow was little. I took her in there, and we sat down, and I thought, if she cries, I'll go out and I'll let the men talk about money. And I was already teaching money stuff, by the way. I was already teaching money stuff, Money Bootcamp, and I was like, where did that thought come from? And it's like, it just come from years and years and years of conditioning that men have all the power around money. And so I took a moment because I went, wow, thank you, like for that reminder that I've still got so much money work to do. And then I said, Mark, I think Willow needs her diaper changed. You go out and change her diaper, and I'll tell the men about what I do. And it was a dick move, like it really was. It was one of those power play dick moves. I was like, you go out and change a nappy. Because the truth was that extra money that we had to invest, it was my money. It was money that I had earned in my business. And I was ready at a moment's notice to pretend that that was not real. So don't beat yourself up about the fact that you have money blocks. We all have money blocks. And we've had them from a really, really young age. So if I was to ask you your first money memory, like you might think of something when you're like 4 or 7 or whatever. But the truth is that most of our very first interactions with money have come from an adult saying, don't put that in your mouth, money is dirty. Even if you have no conscious memory of it, I would honestly bet $1 million on it, that was your very, very first interaction with money, that someone said, yuck, don't get that out of your mouth right now. Do you agree that that's probably a thing? Anyone got kids? Anyone said that to their kids, by the way, without even thinking about it? I totally did. Again, I totally thought, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good with my money blocks. And then I had kids, and I was like, oh, it's a new layer. There's always a new layer. Because I did. I went, don't put that in your mouth, money's, oh, shit, I can't say that. So in our family, we just say, don't put money in your mouth. In our family, we take care of our money. And it's just a tiny little reframe, but it's just because I don't want her to have the same stuff that we've grown up with around money. And you know, it's really funny seeing Willow now, and someone did say to her once, they said, oh, don't play with that money, money's dirty. And she just went, no, it's not. Like, it's just not even a thing for her. Okay, here's another big problem. We're still being shamed around money, and some of it's coming from other women. Yes, it is. I see this in groups all the time where people bitch about what other people are charging. And let's be honest, have you participated in it yourself? Have you judged someone else for what they charge? Put up your hand. I have. It's all good. But we're still doing it, and some professions do it way worse than other professions. I see it in the healing industry a lot of like, well, we should just, this isn't about making money. We just want to help people. And it just becomes this collective shame that you're not allowed to charge for what you do. You're not allowed to charge for your God-given talent. You're not allowed to charge people for transforming their lives. So what I want us to do, make a pact. When we come together like this, we can make a pact to say, first of all, I'm not going to participate in any woman shaming around their prices and money. But also, if you feel brave enough just to say on those threads and say, you know what, it's none of our business what other women charge. She can charge what she likes. Focus on what you want to charge instead. And I'd love for us, you don't have to raise your hand and make a pact or anything like that, but can we just agree that we're not going to shame other women around money? And then the other part of that, I do want you to encourage your girlfriends if you think they are undercharging and undervaluing themselves. And it's okay to just be like, honey, especially if it's someone who you trust and they know it's not going to come from a bad place, and just be like, you're too cheap. You're too cheap. And even if it's people that you don't know. So you might think that I just randomly tell people about money all the time, and I really don't. I really kind of go, okay. But I went and got a spray tan, and it was a lady, she runs a salon out of her house, and I called her and said, can you do it on Sunday? She goes, I don't open on Sunday, but if you call me in the morning, if I'm home, I'll do it. So I went, okay. And so she sprayed me. And then I said, you should be charging me a Sunday surcharge for this. And she went, really? No one would pay that. And I said, I would, and I'm here. I've also said to other women, I've gone, you know what, your waiting list is way too long. I would actually pay to see you quicker. And they go, no one would pay that. And I'm here telling you that it's okay for you to charge for jump the queue or faster turnaround. Because if you notice, other businesses do that, no problem. They do. It's just that's okay for you to charge a Sunday surcharge or, a rush job rate, but yet somehow we feel like the biggest bitches in the world for doing those very normal business practices. So the first part of the pact is don't shame other women. The second part of the pact is tell your girlfriends if they are too cheap, nicely. And then the third part of it is just reflect back to women about, hey, you know what, you could do this with your pricing. Hi, Carmen. Hi. It's so nice seeing people's faces. I'm like, oh. Reflect back to them and say, I think you're too cheap. Okay, is everyone happy to do that? Okay, we can be leaders around this. Yeah. I'm just going to have a little sip of water. Yeah, we can be leaders around that, and we can just create something new. We can create something new, and it's going to come from us being more abundant. All right. Okay, so here's the other really important thing. You have to have other women around you to have those conversations. Last week, these girls and I, and other women too, we were supposed to be in Necker Island. By the way, it's $30,000 to go to Necker. Well, it was for each of us for 5 days. It's a very expensive trip, and no refunds for hurricanes, by the way, but they're rescheduling it, which will be cool. So instead, we went to Angela Laurier's Author Castle, she calls it, and we did some masterminding, which was amazing. So who has got someone in their life that they mastermind with? Okay, most of us, that's great. So what I really want to encourage you, for those of you who don't, is go out and find someone who, they might not even be in the same business as you, but just the same energy or the same level of ambition even, and just get together and mastermind. And it doesn't have to be fancy. So I often mastermind with my friend Tammy. She's a naturopath. We're not even in the same industry. And we go for walks. So we go for a walk once a week, and we talk about problems that we're having in our businesses. Another friend of mine, Naomi, she's a home stager. Completely different business. And we get together and we get our pedicures done and talk about business. So make that part of your, wish list, or really urgent goal that you need to do, is to find people that you can mastermind with. Sometimes you have to buy into it, you have to buy into a mastermind and be around a mentor. That's always a quick and easy way to do it. Or you find other women and get together and mastermind. It's so, so crucial. Okay, I do want to tell you one more rags to riches story, because this is a good one too. So, very dysfunctional upbringing, people were really bad with money and relationships and all that kind of stuff. So I knew that I wanted to go to university. And it was a big deal, first person in my family to go to university. But I really couldn't afford to move out of home. But I found a creative solution. This is a laundry shed. This is a laundry shed. So my friend moved into this big share house and they had this little room out the back. Didn't even have a proper door, like it was a door like this big that you had to climb into. Didn't have a proper window. It had metal grates with plastic over it. And that was as wide as it got. So that was literally, it was blue. How cool is that? Yeah, I loved that. So that's literally how wide it was. It was my single bed, my milk crates with my clothes in it, my wardrobe, and my thrift store fur jacket, and the water heater. So it was warm, which is good. And there was only one toilet in the whole house, and it was an outdoor toilet. It was next to my shed, so it was like an ensuite, which is really cool. But here's the thing about when people tell their rags to riches story, and a lot of men do this, by the way. They go, I was such a loser. Like, I was such a loser, and I was fat, and I was this, and I was unmotivated, and blah, blah, blah. But for most of the people in this room, that is not true at all. Who watched Oprah, like, every day as a kid and as a teenager and as a young woman? Heaps of us. Who was reading personal development books, like, way before most other people? Who was, like, journaling and goal setting and doing things like that? So, she was. She was, and you can't even see it, but there's that was probably my journal there. I would listen to subliminal audio tapes, cassettes, obviously. I'd listen to my subliminal cassettes, and then I'd listen to my Spice Girls cassette. But when I look at her, I don't think she's a loser. She's so much braver than I am now. Like, the bravery to break the cycle cannot be underestimated. So if there are people in this room, if you've broken a cycle of dysfunction or poverty or violence or addiction or something like that in your family, never underestimate how much work that has taken. You have to be so proud of yourself for doing that, because that takes a lot of guts, and not everyone makes it. And you have to be one of the ones that do. So please never underestimate how hard that is. And look back at your past self, wherever you think you were a loser, and think, fuck, she was so brave, and I'm so proud of you. And I do. I look at her with her bad home hair dye job that she did herself, and I don't know if I cut my own hair, but looks like it. But I just want to say, I want to go and give her a hug and just say, I'm so fucking proud of you. That's amazing. And can you say that to yourself as well? Like, just put your hand on your heart and think back to a time where you thought, oh my God, or maybe it's even now. Maybe now you think you're a loser and you're not where you're meant to be, in your life right now. And just go, I'm so proud of you. Say it out loud. I'm so proud of you. Because living this big life, being a leader, it's really scary. It's really scary. And I want to tell you, all the things that scare you today, they won't scare you tomorrow. Do you want some bad news? There's always something new to be scared about. It's true. But it's okay, because you've got your Lucky Bee community. You've got women who've got your back, and it doesn't have to be scary. Okay, so who went and saw Wonder Woman? Oh my God. Did you guys know it was going to be that emotional before you went to see it? I just thought, oh, okay, it's a superhero movie. We have to go and support, women. And I went with one of my best girlfriends, and we sat there, and we were sobbing. We were sobbing throughout so much of the movie. I had no idea I was going to have that reaction. And I've even got goosebumps thinking about it now. And I honestly came out of it, and I felt like my cells had been rearranged. And I just went, that was such a call to action that I'm playing too small, and I need to step up and be like a goddess warrior in the world. And I had all this like adrenaline, and I was driving a little bit too fast home. I was like, yeah, it's so cool. I'm a goddess warrior. Um, but I loved the start where they're all training, and they're like doing all this stuff and running and jumping. And I thought, oh, that's what we do when we come together. Now, we might not be doing archery training in this room, but we're doing training all the same. If you're in my Money Bootcamp, we come together and we train. We train because we go out into the world and sometimes shitty things happen or shitty people say things to us, and we've got to shield ourselves from the negativity of the world. Every time you read a book, every time you do some personal development or some tapping, or you work with a coach, or you join a mastermind or whatever, that is goddess warrior training. And if you're not doing it, you're going to go out in the world and you're going to feel really vulnerable. And you're going to feel really hurt each time someone says something negatively to you, or gives you a 1-star review, or whatever it is, because you will have no armor for it. Does that make sense? So every time you do something for your self-development, for your money blocks even, you are building armor. And you are protecting yourself from the outside world and all the negativity that's there, let's face it. I call these my Wonder Woman shoes. I don't know why, they're very Wonder Woman. But so make sure you are in some warrior training right now to help you. Okay, I want to share some philosophy with you. And if you've listened to my blog or podcast, some of these you might have heard before. Jess, who's here, she was like, oh, I need to sneak out at the end. And I was like, don't worry, you've heard all this before, I'm sure. But still, I want you to hear them with new ears. So first one is, there's always more money. This mantra, it's going to change your life. Let me tell you how it changed mine. So last year, Mark and I, we bought a big house, really out of our comfort zone. When I say house, it's a piece of land. We haven't built on it yet. But every time you do something really big, have you noticed it takes a little while to acclimatize to it? And you might achieve an upgrade, and then for a while you're like, why did I do that? And weird things happen. So here's what happened. We were driving into town to pick up the keys for this new place. And I said, oh, Mark, this was such a big leap for us. I really think we're going to have to watch our expenses next year. And he goes, that's not like you. And I said, I know. I said, there's always more money. And at that moment, $1,000 worth of $50 notes hit our car. I know! It was the weirdest thing. Honestly, the weirdest thing. We were driving along and I said, there's always more money. And a wad of money hit our car. And it flew all over the road. It was all the notes were all over the road. And Mark goes, did you see that? And I was like, yes, because I thought I hallucinated it from the universe. And to this day, I have no idea where that money came from. And I tried to play the scenarios. I was like, maybe someone was going to buy a secondhand car, and they had this wad of cash in their hand, and they were and it flew out the window. I have no idea. And even Mark's like, do we stop? And I said, no, that is not the message. It's not. The message isn't stop on this busy road and be dodging cars, picking up money and because that money wasn't for us. That wasn't the message. The message was there's always more money. Yeah. So, and the coolest thing is we drive down that road twice a day. And so every time we drive down, it's an anchor for me. I go, there's always more money. And sometimes I think, there's probably some money in the bushes in there, maybe. Maybe one day I should just go and check and just say, there's got to be a $50 note around here somewhere. But that wasn't the message. The message was there's always more money. Do you believe that, by the way? There's always more clients. There are always more opportunities. There is always more out there for you. Because sometimes we think too, when we think of more, we think, but I need 1 million clients. It's you really don't. You just need a couple of extra clients. There's definitely some of those out there for you, right? There's definitely a better job out there for you if you hate your job. There's always more. So remember that one, because I freaking do. I was like, universe, well played. Well played. Okay, there are easier ways to make money. Because for me, there are easier ways to make money than getting run over trying to pick up a $50 note. Like, really. But often we go the hard route to making money. Put up your hand if you have worked with just the worst client, pain in the butt, was not worth the money at all. Yeah. Put up your hand if you've had a terrible, terrible boss in a terrible, terrible company where you hated every minute of it. It's like, is that really the only company in the world that you could have worked for? Really? And I know sometimes, like, circumstances and all that kind of stuff, but really, there are easier ways to make money. And sometimes people tell me their business idea or they tell me, like, this thing, and I just go, why are you doing that? And they think, well, oh, maybe it's a good idea or it's an interesting niche or people need it. Have you ever started a business because people needed it, even though you don't want to do it? Yes, because it's like, oh, no, I have to take that opportunity because it might be my only one. No, there are other ideas out there. There are easier ways to make money. Write that down, please. And even put it on your desk somewhere. So when, like, a client comes in and you have that little red flag feeling and you're like, oh, just remember there are easier ways to make money than working with that person, because it will be hard. It'll be hard, and you will earn every penny and more when you work with those people. Okay. So the reason why I included this slide too, it's like having that armor, having and one of the armors that I suggest every woman has, by the way, is money in a savings account. Because when you have that buffer, it's really easy to say no to those opportunities. It's really easy to go, oh God, pain in the butt client, nope. You know, and you need to have that armor within you, whether it's the confidence to say no, whether it's the money behind you to say no, whether it's just experience where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to learn that lesson again. And you can just deflect it. Not again. Never again. Okay. So money requires clarity for sure, but not perfection. So put up your hand if you're a perfectionist in here. Put up your hand if you would claim yourself as a perfectionist if you were in fact perfect. And the reason I say that is because people would say, are you a perfectionist, Denise? And I'd go, oh no, I'm like so not a perfectionist because I'm totally not perfect. And I'd tell them all the things that were wrong with me, and it was like, they were like, oh, you're not a perfectionist, okay. Because I didn't feel like I wasn't perfect enough to even claim that title of being perfect. So I always say to people, like, money requires clarity for sure. You've got to know how much money, how much do you want to make? And back when I was doing one-to-one coaching, I would ask people, how much do you want to make? And they would go, because they wouldn't want to claim that out loud. They wouldn't want to even say it. And I think, too, this has come from us from a really young age as well. So your first birthday party that you remember, your family said, blow out the candles, and make a wish, but don't tell anybody or it won't come true. And that's just so ingrained in us, isn't it? So ingrained in us. Don't tell anyone your wishes or they won't come true. And so that's why a lot of women, they don't have clarity around how much money they want to make. They don't have clarity around their business because they're so afraid to even ask. Because they think, well, something bad's going to happen, or I'm going to jinx it, or I'm going to, whatever's going to happen, and I won't get it anyway, and I don't want to be disappointed. So I loved that Gala asked you to come up with some different things around, richness and abundance in different areas. That's super important. Make sure you do your dream boards and your goal lists and your journaling, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're telling the universe what you're asking for. Because otherwise it's like calling up the pizza place and saying, just send me what you think I'd like. And they're like, well, what do you like? And you go, well, just guess. Like, I don't know, send me something nice. Have you ever said, just send me something nice? Or you've said, like, you've gone, I just want another client. Or I just want more money. And it's like, oh, well, you just found a dime. Does that count? And you're like, no, it doesn't. Well, be more specific. Be more specific. Okay, so for me, I have become pretty focused in my business. So I have an internal mantra, which is all roads lead to bootcamp. And it's really worked for me. I don't know, suggest that everyone does it necessarily, but that has helped me make sure that what I'm doing is leading somewhere and I'm not getting distracted by shiny objects or different projects or whatever. So it's really clear all roads lead to bootcamp. I don't have a mastermind. I don't have other offerings beside that. That's the way I help people. So you could have a mantra that all roads lead to your signature offering, or all roads lead to a coaching session. And when I started my business, actually, I didn't really know what I was going to coach on, but I would write a blog post each week, and then I'd say at the end, and you can book in for a 1-hour session with me. I actually didn't know, like I wasn't saying, oh, you could book in with a 1-hour, like, blah, blah, blah session and make it really specific, because sometimes women they think it has to be super specific. But people would just go, oh, I do want to spend an hour with her, and they knew what they wanted to get out of that. So that could be it. If that's all you have, it's like all roads lead to that. Does that make sense? Really, really helps. Because if you don't, then it can lead to really random things that are huge distractions for your business. So if you don't know, in 2010, Mark and I won a honeymoon testers competition. And as part of the thing, I said, if you pick us, we'll get married and break the Guinness World Record for most married couple. And so they went, yeah, okay. And then they said, oh, we just went and did the research. The record's 83 weddings. I was like, what the fuck? So we actually got married 87 times before I said, like, yeah, no more, I'm not doing that. And then by that time, the couple were up to 99. It was going to be this like never-ending fight to the death for getting married. And I just went, you know what? I really don't want to be known for getting married. Like, that's not my legacy on this planet, is getting married every weekend to win a Guinness World Record. But I thought it was a cool story, and I had tons of wedding pictures, 87 of them. And also, I thought, well, I've done this. Like, I've got this brand, Lucky Bitch, and I've written a book called Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. And I was like, Get Hitch, Lucky Bitch is a great idea. I can help people, like, clear their money stuff and then find a soulmate. And then my friend was like, oh, let's collaborate on a book about health. And you could call it Get Fit, Lucky Bitch. And it was like such a distraction. But, I mean, who has got an equivalent of Get Hitch, Lucky Bitch in their business or life? Who has got them littering their computer at the moment? So you've heard of the sunk cost fallacy, right? That you put money into something, so therefore you feel like you have to keep on going, even if it's shit and horrible. And that cost me $5,000. Not the cover, clearly. Didn't cost $5,000. But creating that book, you know, by the time I paid editors and blah, 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 it cost me $5,000. And I got to the end and I was like, oh my God, shiny object. This is not what I want to be known for. This is not my legacy. So I killed it. And I mean, there's a couple of people probably even in here who have read it, because I was like, I'll just put it in the boot camp. You guys can read the book of it. Who's read it, by the way? Oh, one person? Okay. That was totally worth it, wasn't it? Did you like it? Okay, well, that's good to know. Good to hear. But seriously, go home and kill things that are not your legacy, because there are easier ways to make money, and all roads lead to whatever it is that you do. Okay, everyone agree with that? Yes, go home and kill some stuff. Okay, so here's the other thing that I want to say. Fear is normal, everyone is scared, end of story. That's a bullshit excuse. Stop using it as an excuse. And I know that sounds really like mean, but I remember asking, Ali Brown is like a huge hero of mine. Do people know Ali Brown in here? She's great, isn't she? And I remember reading about how she was a millionaire by 35. So that was my goal. I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire by 35. And I did it, which was great. But I did it because she told me it was possible. Yeah? Yeah, she totally did. But I remember asking her and I said, Ali, like, you don't get scared anymore, do you? She was like, Denise, I'm shit scared every single day. I went, fuck. I really thought like at some point you wouldn't be scared anymore. And it's exactly what I said. What scares you today won't scare you tomorrow. So this is just a given. You just have to go, when you feel the fear, you just have to go, oh, everyone's got this. This is just, yeah, a bullshit excuse, basically. I used to be really scared of everything when I was like a teenager. I used to actually even hate speaking to anyone. which sounds really strange, right? Because I was a dancer, I was a performer, all that kind of stuff. But I remember I'd stand in the line to buy McDonald's, and I'd be sitting there, and standing there, and I'd go, okay, one, like, quarter pounder meal, one, and I would rehearse it because I was so scared about speaking out loud. And I read this quote, and I do not know where it's from because I've just used it my whole life, but it's fear gives you the energy to do your best in a new situation. And it's a bit clunky, I know, but I remember that was like my first mantra that I ever used. And so every time I felt any kind of fear, I'd be like, fear gives you the energy to do your best in a new situation. So after that, I made myself join the debate team. And I was terrified. And then I made myself apply for this job doing crowd warm-up for Bugs Bunny shows. So 10 minutes before the Bugs Bunny show, I'd come out and be like, hey, boys and girls, who are you going to see today? And they're like, Bugs Bunny! And I forced myself to do those things because I reframed the fear as fear gives you the energy to do your best in a new situation. So that really helps. I really highly recommend it because fear is just, it's just normal. Sorry. Does that feel horrible to hear, or it feels okay? You're like, yeah, I don't want it. And sometimes people go, yeah, I don't believe you. Sure, at some point I'm going to feel totally like at ease and everything, always confident, never feel any fear. Nope. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Okay. This is the part of the movie where I started sobbing the most. This is the part of the movie where Diana, Wonder Woman, wants to go to the front of the war because she doesn't understand that war is even a thing, that people are getting killed. And she's in the trenches with all these soldiers, and she's just ready to just go up and do battle. She's like, let's just go and get them. And they said, you can't go up there. It's no man's land. And every woman in the audience at that moment were like, no man's land. She's Wonder Woman. Those rules don't apply to her. And then I was like, and I'm a woman, and I can go into no man's land. And then she just climbed up the ladder because she was like, you guys aren't doing it. This is my job. And she climbed up the ladder and she went for it. And I want you to reflect, what is no man's land for you? Where are the places that only you can go? Because other people, they either don't have the courage, they don't have the guts, they don't have the qualifications, they don't have the right key to enter that lock. And in some cases, I'm so glad that we're women and we're doing all these amazing things in this kind of female industry because it's no man's land in lots of ways. But no man's land isn't literal. And if you're brave enough to share, I would love you to even say it out loud now. What is your no man's land where other people can't go? My anger. Yeah, do you want to say more on that? Absolutely. Did you guys hear that? Yeah, she talks about her anger. That is, it's almost taboo in some ways, isn't it? In some cases, say you're in the parenting space, it's taboo to talk about how sometimes you don't like your kids. It is, and that's no man's land for your industry. I talked about Tammy, my naturopath friend. She, no man's land for her industry is telling people that they're allowed to charge well for what they do as a naturopath. And you know what happens when you go to no man's land? Some people don't like it. Some people will judge you. Some people will shame you for doing it. But that wasn't ever their job anyway. That was your path to take. And you have to be brave enough to do it, to get up and go. Now, my only criticism about the movie is that very often she was the only one. And that trope gets played out so many times where it's like the hero's journey and it's only one person that has to do it. So it was like Wonder Woman with her shield and the whole army. And then you think, I always tell people being in business, it's not a Highlander situation. You don't have to kill everyone else in your industry, suck their power, and then it's and then it can be only one. That's not like that at all. First of all, you've got tons of sisters around you who can also have their shields up and share the load. And it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be just you doing it. And there doesn't have to be only one as well. If there's other people doing it, you can join them. So that was my only criticism of Wonder Woman. But I really want you to go home. If you remember nothing else from this speech, is really think of that no man's land. And where do you have the courage to fit in where other people, where there are no voices like yours? Where there are nobody in your industry or in this particular thing who looks like you. And people need to hear it from someone who looks and sounds exactly like you. I mean, there's tons of people talking about money, for sure. And I know this without being arrogant, but I know there are some people in this room who haven't heard people talk about money like I've talked about it. Is that true? Anyone in here? Or you've just gone, oh, that makes sense. Or you've heard something and go, oh, yeah, I've never heard it like that before. Now, I want you to think about that too, because that's what no man's land is all about. It's that somebody needs to hear it exactly in the only way that you can share it. They need to see it from someone with your color skin, with your body shape, with your voice. And all the things that are the BS excuses, well, I'm not this, that, and the other, they are your strengths. That is your ticket to no man's land. So please just remember that, if nothing else. Okay, so the other thing I always ask myself, on the same vein, why not me? Why not you? Why can't you have every success that you've ever wanted in your life? Why can't you be successful in your industry? And when I say that, it's actually really useful to come up with the reasons why that you're saying in your head. And you could even just go, why not me? Okay, well, I need to lose 15 pounds first, and then I'll be ready. Or I need another certificate. I'm not qualified enough. That's why not me. So I need another certificate first. I need to finish my website. By the way, websites are never finished. They're a work in progress for the rest of your life. But there's all these reasons we have about why we're not allowed to be successful. So just flip it around and just go, well, why not me? I'm allowed to do it. And actually, people need you. They need you to be a contributor because your work really, really matters. And I decided in myself, I was like, I actually really, really care about this topic of women and money, that I don't, not that I don't care if I never get paid for it, but it was like, I really, really am passionate about it, so I want to speak about it no matter what, even if this isn't my quote-unquote calling. Because it's like, why not? I can contribute to this conversation. I'm allowed. And some people tell you that you're not. That happens all the time. Why not you? Okay, turn to the person next to you and just go, why not you? Why not you? Okay, so I wanted to share another mantra, because after I heard Susie Orman declare herself a wealthy woman, I was like, oh, that's so amazing. And then, for those of you in the room who've done it before, you go and look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, this is what a wealthy woman looks like. Because guess what? There are no size requirements for wealth. There are no height requirements. There are no weight requirements or color requirements or anything, only what we tell ourselves. So this might bring up some stuff for you, but turn to someone else behind you, beside you, whatever, and point to your own face and say, this is what a wealthy woman looks like. Say it to someone else. Tell someone else. What did that bring up for you? What did that bring up for you? Yes, it's true. What else? Did anyone think? You giggles. Yeah, because it kind of feels weird to claim it, right? It's like, oh, it feels a bit. What else? Hell yeah. Did it kind of make you think oh yeah, why not me? I could be, yes. Anyone have any negative thoughts immediately pop up, because that's really valuable information too. Yeah, Jess, what did... Arrogance. Oh, this is really arrogant to claim this. What a bitch. She's going to think I'm so arrogant if I tell her this. Yeah, what else? It's not true. Anyone, just that little voice was like, but you're not. but you're not. You know, like, I am a big believer. Like, I love positivity. I love it. But I'm a really big believer in going to the dark side because that's really valuable information for you to uncover. So go and say that to yourself every day in the mirror. This is what a wealthy woman looks like. And you're going to start to nitpick yourself. And you'll go, yeah, she would if she wasn't wearing sweats. Because wealthy women wear, like, obviously, shoulder pads every day and pearls and big hair, because that's all I knew. Did anyone else only see rich people on Dynasty? Not ever in real life? Or they wear white jeans and beige sweaters. Yeah. And so you'll start to judge yourself and you'll start to tell yourself all the reasons why you are not, in fact, a wealthy woman and you are, in fact, not allowed to be a wealthy woman. And that is just really valuable information. So write it all down. Like, don't judge yourself for it or censor and just go, no, I am. It's like, tell me more. Why else can't I be rich? And that little voice will go, well, because English isn't your first language and you have an accent. Because you're a woman of color. Because you're too young. Because you're too old. Because you missed your slot. Because you're not smart enough. Because you're too fat. Because you came from a dysfunctional family. Whatever it is, just let that voice say her piece. Just let it say it. Because then that's going to give you really great information to go back to Goddess Warrior Training Camp and work on. And, you know, go and look for role models who, like, have a similar, like, life story to you, or they look like you. Find some wealthy role models, because then you can go, wow, she can do it, I can do it. And if you can't find any, guess what? Yeah. Oprah, of course. No, if you cannot find any role models, that means that it is you who is destined to be a role model for other people. And that's not your excuse to, like, oh, well, no one else has done it from my town. Guess what? That's your job. Or no one's done it from my country, or no one's done it who looks like me, or no one's... It's like, well, great. Go look in the mirror again, because that's who's going to do it. And you have to be the role model for other people. So, what would you like to throw into the flame? What excuses would you like to throw into this collective fire? Is it around your weight or your accent or your background or the color of your skin or your voice or your whatever? What is it? Shout it out. I don't have time. Throw it in the fire. I've got doubts. I failed. I don't have enough followers. Throw it into the flame. I want everyone to be throwing something in. Like, just show me, throwing it in. What are you throwing in? You can shout it out, or you can just say it silently. Not ready. I'm not ready. Throw it all into the flame. It's too easy. Doesn't count. It was a fluke. Fear of other people. Fear of triggering other people. Yes. Not wanting to overshadow other people and make them feel bad. No doctorate. Oh my God. Yes. I bet you have a lot of other certificates though. I'd be willing to bet. You have a few. I see you. It's not realistic. Throw it in the fire. I don't deserve it. Anyone got, it's not my time? It's not my time. Sometimes that comes up for mums because they're like, well, it's not my time now. It's my children's time now. It's like, no, that's not true. You've got a lot of life left. Or it's just like, you know, it's someone else got that slot. It's not my time. Okay, so put your hand on your heart. You know this mantra. It's my time, and I'm ready for the next step. Yeah. Now, that's really powerful. If you say that a couple of times over the next couple of days, an opportunity will come up, and you're like, no, I'm not really ready. You're like, oh, I said I was ready, but I wasn't ready for that. And then you have to just go, no, it's my time, and I'm ready for the next step. I'm really ready. So it can be as simple as that. It really can. That you decided is your time now. Screw Mercury retrograde or whatever's going on. It's a great excuse. And and there's so many excuses you can have right now. It's the economy, it's not the right time, it's this, it's that. I'll wait until the next election. I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. And it's like, no, it's your time now. And you're absolutely ready for the next step now. Okay, so I just want you to, again, don't beat yourself up that this is hard, because nobody's taught you to be rich. And that's true sometimes even if you grew up in a wealthy family. They didn't necessarily teach you how to do that. No appropriate role models. Maybe money is a taboo topic in your industry, or there's a lot of shame. Business is really lonely and you just need that support. So remember that it's not your fault that you have money blocks. Everyone has them, and actually we're just really conditioned to have them as women. And if making money feels hard to you right now, or if you want more ease and flow, there are no shortcuts. You have to work on your money blocks, and you have to work on them all the time. And it's like the fear thing, the work never stops. So I'm constantly working on my money blocks all the time because they come up in new and sneaky ways. Anyone else got the money block of I have to work really hard to make money? Yes. So that one came up for me when I made my first $225, when I sold my first ebook. So when I sold that ebook for $10, I felt so guilty. I felt like I had to call up every person individually and read it to them over the phone to earn that $10. And you might think, well, now, Denise, now that you have money, that money block must be gone. No, it's come up for me at every single stage. And the last time it hit for me was when Mark started really working my business, and I started taking away some of my tasks so he could do them. And I thought, I can't tell anyone about this. They're going to think that I didn't deserve any of my success, that it was all Mark. And I realized it was just the same old money block. You have to work really hard to make money. So it's just going to come up again and again. And if you're not in my Money Bootcamp, I really highly, highly recommend that you come and join us, because that is the Goddess Warrior Training Camp where we work on that stuff. And sometimes people, they go away for a couple of months, they hit a new plateau, they come back and they start again. They just have to do the basics. I can see people nodding. It's like, you have to come back and do the basics again and again, because that's what it takes. So I really hope, if you haven't heard about Money Bootcamp, I'm not talking about it tonight. I will send you an email though, because on every single stop on this tour, we're giving a discount for coming to join Money Bootcamp, $500 off. And we'll just send you an email about that, or you can go see my team at the break. But I don't have time to tell you exactly about what it is. There's a ton of information online. And also, I used to be really coy about it. You couldn't even find it on my website, by the way. And then now I just know I'm really, really good at what I do, helping women release money blocks. I'm really good at it. And so come and join our community in our Goddess Warrior Training Camp. And check your email. There'll be a discount code in there. So before we go into Q&A, I just want to tell you again, the world needs you. The world needs us. It really does. And women have been oppressed for so long, but now it's our time to rise. It's our time to make money, and it's our time to do good with that money. No excuses anymore, because the world needs us. And also your family needs you to be the keeper of that vision. So if you want to retire your husband, or you want to go traveling with your kids, or you want to do something, the time is now. And you have been given this task for this lifetime because you can handle it. And you've got the support, you've got the network, and you've got the role models, and you can do it if you just decide to say, why not me? Why not me? Okay, so turn to your partner again and just say, it is my time and I'm ready for the next step. Yeah, like it totally is my time and I'm ready for the next step. I can't remember what I was writing there. Oh, I wrote, I'm a lucky bitch. That's funny. The photographer was like, just pretend you're writing. And I was like, I'm a lucky bitch. That's funny. Okay, cool. All right, let me just check the time, because I always run over. And I'm really bad at this. What time do we say we're going to leave? Like 9-ish? 9:30 or 8:30? 9:30. Perfect. Okay. So we can probably do about 5 people at each microphone. So if you want to come and ask a question, please don't be scared. I'm a very normal person. Everyone else in this room is a normal person as well. We just want the best for you. We want to support you. And if you ask a question, say your name, So we can only do 5 at each microphone, and if we have time after that, we can just randomly take some. Please don't ask me a technical question, because that's just such a waste, and I will answer it because I'm a Virgo and I like to be weirdly helpful to people. So, like, sometimes people go, Denise, like, they come up to something like this and they go, Denise, what webinar software do you use? I go, that's your question? But then I can't help myself. I go, oh, well, I used to use this, but now I use Zoom and blah, blah, blah. So please don't ask me a technical question. And the other thing is, at the end of your question, you're going to turn to everybody in the room and say, this is what a wealthy woman looks like. Okay? So I'm just warning you. I'm just warning you. Okay, let's start on this side. So introduce yourself, name, what you do.
Okay. My name is Nicole.
Hi,
You
Nicole.
look lovely.
Thank you.
I am the owner of Third Eye Yoga and 108, the latter of which helps beginner entrepreneurs start up.
Ooh,
Third Eye
perfect.
Yoga is a private mind and body and motivation programs. So earlier you mentioned something about the dark side.
Yep.
I have a question from there.
Okay.
So I'm deeply immersed in watching online coaches and just, learning and studying. And so let's say for the past 5 years or so, there's been a lot happening. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of starters really go for it and raise their prices. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, from another angle, a lot of maybe business offerings say, make 6 figures your first year or this weekend or whatever.
Okay.
And
So what's your question?
it seems inflated.
Yep.
Or it seems too fast, too much.
Okay.
And my question is, what's real?
Okay.
What's not?
So my answer to you is don't do that. Don't do it and ignore it, because people are just seeing through it now. And all you have to do is focus on your lane, focus on what's authentic and in integrity for you, and do that. And I think it can just be a real distraction, and that means literally unsubscribing from those things. Like, don't watch it anymore. Make it a rule that you don't watch competitors and you don't watch people who feel icky. And if you want to, tell your truth about that and say, hey guys, I saw these things happening in our industry, or I saw these things happening in mentorship. That's not okay. Let's have a different conversation. That's all you have to do. Like, it will always be there. It's not going to go away.
But part of what I mean is the beginner coaches and entrepreneurs who maybe feel confident and just raise their prices.
Yeah.
So to your note of, breaking through your money blocks, is there a point when it's maybe too much, too soon? You don't,
Do you feel like it's too much too soon for you? Because
No.
who cares what they're doing?
For a validity check, just to know, I guess.
There will always be people who overcharge, and there will always be people who undercharge. And mostly women undercharge. Uh-huh. That just happens. The thing with pricing, you just have to feel in integrity with your pricing and really honestly ignore what everyone else is charging. Yeah. And if you want to, talk about it and say how it's not cool or whatever, and be the role model for authentic pricing. That's the only thing you can do. Just feel good in what you're doing and ignore the rest. Okay, tell us, this is what a wealthy woman looks like.
This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
And isn't it funny when you hear someone say that, don't you just go, yeah, that is true. Like you can see the richness and the wealth in each woman, and we can see that for you. So yeah, really own that. Hi.
Hi. So my name is Catherine Navarro, and I'm an empowerment coach. I help women who are type A's become a little bit more femme and slow down and relax.
Wow.
I can't say I'm fully recovered, but I'm on my way.
That's important.
And then the bigger part of my business is the healing factor. So it's kind of, there's a lot of talk, a lot of certificates. Mm-hmm. And the healing piece feels like, although there are many modalities, the predominant one is coming really from my heart.
Yeah. So
and it's very hard to charge from that place.
Yes.
Because it feels easy. Mm. And this is something that I was talking with someone, my marketer actually, about the other day when we were discussing pricing. And she says, if you want to scale your business and make this be full-time all the time, then prices need to adjust. And I heard it roll out my tongue, well, maybe we should add all of these other things because otherwise it feels too easy.
Yeah. Anyone else do that, by the way? Overcomplicate things, add things in so you like earn it? Yeah. What's your question, hon?
So that is my question.
Is-
How do you stand in your power in a way that feels extremely comfortable
Yeah.
when it feels so easy and like you could do this all day and love from there all day long?
Yeah. So you could do a mantra. Like you just have to do your money work around it, right? You have to do your money work. So it could be, it's safe for me to make money doing things I love. It's safe for me to make money doing things that are easy for me. It's safe for me to make easy money. You have to find like what you're telling yourself. Well, it's not safe because that means I'll be a greedy bitch or really mean, or people will think that I didn't deserve it, or whatever it is. You've got to go and do your work around that so you can clear it. And then
So really stare at the shadow, like what it means.
Absolutely.
If I do this, that would be more of the, because I am in your boot camp. I think it's fantastic. Plug.
Yay, thank you.
But I haven't come to that place. Maybe that's why it hasn't.
Because it's probably a new layer for you, a new layer of it. And it is safe for you to make money helping people. And it could be even just a mantra of like, the more money I make, the more people I can help. The more people I help, the more money I can make. And I mean, it's a really common one. It's like you feel like you have to choose. And you might even be saying it. I'd really be curious to see if you're saying things out loud like, well, I don't care about the money, I just want to help people.
Oh, I definitely say that.
Okay, cool. Or it's not about the money for me, it's not about the numbers, it's how many hearts I can. And it's like, yes, that's true. But both of those things can be true. Both of them can be true.
So what would be a mantra that you combine when you say both of those could be true?
Well, the one I just said before about the more money I make, the more people I can help. The more people I help, the more money I can make. Just so you can see, oh, I know, good one for you. I serve, I deserve. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, because you do. You're serving people and you deserve to receive in return. And you can role model that too, especially if you, this is for all of us, if we also work in a field where there are other women who are heart-centered and all that, we have to be the role models for them too, because it has a ripple effect beyond what you can possibly imagine. I serve, I deserve. So say that and then tell us what a wealthy woman looks like.
I serve, I deserve. This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Okay. All right, guys, I see more people joining the queue. No more people joining the queues. I'm really sorry because we'll be here forever. Hi.
Hi, Denise. Hi. My name is Krista, and my girlfriends and I came from Nova Scotia, Canada to see you tonight.
Thank you. Yay.
So I'm a coach, and what's got me really excited right now is working with the Enneagram personality tool to use that as a way to find blocks and things like that.
I love it.
And so my question for you tonight is, well, first, it's a thank you for being the model for me to showing me what it's like to retire a husband and raise a family and doing this. And on those terms, I'm really curious to know how, with you doing that, how you can still hold the feminine energy and mark the masculine, and how that works.
That's such a great question. The truth is we're always in a work in progress around it. When we first got married, I really struggled with the feminine energy, and I remember saying to him, next lifetime, you be the woman, I'll be the man. Because this ain't working for me. Doing personality tests has really helped us. So we did the Sacred Money Archetypes. Anyone in here did that course? Oh, it saved our marriage, really, knowing about our different money types and how we could work together. We're not perfect with it. We're really not. And Mark has a pretty non-traditional role in lots of ways. Like, he's babysitting the kids tonight, but he is such a hands-on dad, and we're working through it, and we're doing the work all the time. And we're just having conversations about it, what works, what doesn't work for us. And he had to really look at his own masculinity stuff too, because one of the reasons why he didn't want to quit his job is because he was like, what am I going to tell my mates that I do? Work for you? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, this is the new economy, dude. And he was so worried about telling his clients at his job, and without exception, everyone said, oh, wish I could do what you're doing. I'm so jealous. And so we just have to muddle through and role model it for the next generation of people who are also muddling through it. But keep on doing the personality type stuff together, and just be in the conversation and talk about it. lots of people are talking about it, but just tell your truth and what works and what doesn't, and we're all going to figure it out together, right? And guys in the room, we're figuring it out. You're going to help us figure it out, right? Yeah, perfect. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, tell us what a wealthy woman looks like.
Oh God, okay. This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Yay! Hi.
Hi, Denise.
Hi.
I'm Madison, and I'm an Aussie living in Canada, traveling through the US.
Perfect.
So my business is I'm a launch strategist. However, after this talk, I'm walking away feeling like I need to serve very differently, more from a heart space and more on other things. So more to come on that.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah, so my question is, I recently found out that I'm 6 weeks pregnant.
Congratulations.
Which is scary as fuck.
Lucky babies bring abundance, by the way. That was my mantra.
Thank you. I'm going to need that.
Yeah.
And I've been in the boot camp since November last year, and I really, I've only been about 2 weeks into the boot camp, but I'm still learning all the lessons from the 2 weeks. And I know I've got to go back and do more, but since I found out that I'm pregnant, and I really have always kind of lived from this place of I can have everything.
Yeah.
I can live overseas. I can have my own business. I can have, I really have kind of lived at that level. And since I found out I'm pregnant, my money mindset has gone crazy to shit. And I'm really surprised by it because I'm also struggling to kind of pick myself up. And I just wanted to hear a bit more because you did mention that when you fell pregnant with Willow, that kind of shakiness happened. And I'm just curious to know your experience and if you have any advice.
Great question. Is there anyone else in here who's scared about having kids because you're worried about what it's going to mean for your money and business? And so I was like that for a long time, and Mark and I had many discussions and I was asking everyone, how do you do it? How do you do it? Because in my mind, you have a baby and then that's it. You can't have a business, you can't have money. Because I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone who was a successful businesswoman who made money. So I had to go out and find those role models, and just even setting the intention, I would suddenly see them, and I was like, oh, Jenny Fennig, she's here tonight, right? Yes. So hearing about you, and you talking about your boys, that I was like, oh, maybe it is possible, right? And so set the intention, you'll start to find them, and you'll go, oh my God, I can. The other thing that I did was I worked with a kinesiologist to write down and work through all the fears that I had. This is going to ruin my vagina. This is going to ruin my body. This is going to ruin my business. This is going to ruin my relationship. This is going to ruin... And I had to work through each of those blocks exactly like we do in Money Bootcamp. You can use the exact same tools. And I used the mantra, babies bring abundance. And they do. Because you have to be super efficient. Am I right? You can't be everything to everyone anymore. You have to stop being chief everything officer. So having a baby made me step into the role of being a CEO instead of doing everything. And if you just have that mantra, babies bring abundance, babies bring abundance. I got really efficient. I started batching. I talk about batching all the time. That was because I was pregnant. And I was like, suddenly I'm doing all these things that I should have done years ago. And there are easier ways to become a better CEO than having a baby, by the way. But it's good urgency because you've got a deadline. So babies bring abundance, and your baby will be a very lucky baby that will bring so much goodness and abundance into your life.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And this is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Yeah. Ooh, hi.
Hi, Denise.
Hi.
My name is Louisa,
Hi, Louisa.
and I lead group programs for women entrepreneurs to help them be more selfish, create really clear boundaries, so that they can have abundance, but to have freedom, to really have the schedules they desire.
Perfect.
So my question for you is, in the past, my boyfriend made way more money than I did. And he spoiled me, and I went on wonderful vacations to different islands, stayed in the Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis, all these beautiful places. And now I'm doing really well in my business, so I'm making way more money than him.
Yep.
And I'm taking him on vacations to Bali or to Hawaii, and it feels different.
How does it feel?
it feels like I feel thankful and grateful that I can. The resentment isn't about what I'm able to bring and gift to him and like share with him. I'm actually thankful that I get to do that.
Yeah, but
But the resentment is that I still want to be spoiled.
yeah,
And so I have these desires to make even more money.
yeah,
But then there's this fear because where I'm headed, there's no way right now in what he desires to go farther than where I'm headed,
Okay.
where I'm committed to. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of scary because it's like, so I just want to know if this has showed up for you and what your experience has been like with having that role change.
yeah, absolutely. And what's really great now is that we both work on the same thing. So I know that anything that we do is for our family, and that really helps. But I find a lot of us, we swing. And so maybe you've just swung a little bit into the masculine around money a little bit. And it's still okay to be treated. And so lean into that a little bit. Maybe you actually have a conversation about it and say, this is how it's making me feel. How is it making you feel? Because you might have to have an honest conversation about that too. Maybe he's feeling weird about it. And then you could set some fun stuff where you take turns planning and paying for the vacations. Just because you have more money now doesn't mean you have to do all of that and you can't receive in the relationship. Because I find that sometimes when that happens from a money place, it starts to like go into other areas of your relationship, maybe like the bedroom or something like that. But start having those conversations, and because it's all new, it's this new economy, new relationships, new masculinity for him as well. So if you can have a life partner on board who's willing to have those conversations, you guys will be fine. You'll be totally fine.
All right.
Yeah. Tell us what a wealthy woman looks like.
This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
You're so welcome.
My name is Nikki Battle.
Hi.
Hi. I'm a digital marketer. I'm really very good at what I do. And I've already...
Claim it.
No, really. And I've already made a name for myself in my, corner of my universe. So where I struggle, and I think this is a good money question probably for a few other people, is in launching an online business, which is completely different from how I sell my services now. Mm-hmm. I have this fear every time I'm about to start that my colleagues are gonna think like, oh, she must need the money.
She must need the money.
She must
That's
need the
why
money.
you're
Like,
launching.
that's why she's doing it this way as opposed to how she normally consults.
Yeah. Who cares what they think, first of all?
Yeah.
And seriously,
Yeah.
they're going to have their opinions, especially if they don't know online business. I find that people who are kind of outside that world,
Right.
they honestly think we're doing some weird scammy thing. And that's okay. And you just have to just be like, that's okay.
Right.
Be in conversation with people who totally understand and get why you're doing it. And it's okay for you to we all launch because we want the money often, right? And that's okay too. Yeah. It's okay to have a big goal for that money. It doesn't mean that you need it, but maybe you need it for your soul's fulfillment of one of your dreams. And that's okay too. It's none of their business. It's literally not their business.
Right. No, that's pretty much what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. I never say anything original because it's always just like just stop doing that.
Yeah.
Or, that is a block,
Right.
deal with it. But you know what to do. I think write a list of all the things you actually are really afraid of, them judging you about, and that's the stuff you're really judging in yourself. Mm-hmm. And then at least you've got something then to work on. Do some EFT, talk to your kinesiologist, talk to your coach, and it's just valuable information to clear. That's it.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
Yes.
You're really good at what you do,
Yes.
and you deserve to make really good money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell us.
This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. So my name is Ashley, and my website is inspiredbyashley.co, and I lead a women's public speaking group in New York City, so if any of you want to get good at being on stage, like Denise, you can come check it out.
Very good.
My question, so I really related to what you were saying about being like the one who has to like carry the torch and like be the leader and be out front. And on the one hand, I really feel that, and I feel like a lot of weight of responsibility to be that. And then I think the deeper part of me wants other people in my family who are in this room right now to do it first. And like when we did the exercise a little bit ago of saying like, I'm a wealthy woman, the person in my family that's here wasn't even able to do that. And sometimes I'm just like, I want you to do it first. Like, I don't always want to have to be first. So my question, I guess, is around separating your money stuff from other people's and like wanting them to like do it too, but separately.
Such a juicy
Super
question.
codependent.
Yes. So, do you need to go, honey? Just so I can say goodbye. Hi, bye. It's okay. You don't have to. Like, it's like I have to go. I've got a train. I'm really sorry. It's okay. Bye. Okay. So, here's the thing. My mum lives with me. Okay. So, and no one in my family has dealt with their money stuff. It is your job. I'm really sorry, but it is, because you're the one responsible for your life, and you just have to be brave enough to do it, because sometimes, well, it's your life. It really is. And they're responsible for their stuff. You can't take on other people's money blocks. You can't try and heal it for them. You can just heal yours, and that's going to have a huge ripple effect throughout your family. And it doesn't mean you have to, make other people feel bad in your family for the work that you're doing. You just have to focus on your own thing. That's it. You know it.
I know it. It's not so much making them feel bad. It's like, you be the example. Like, why do I have to be the example? But I guess I just...
You be the example. Yeah, because that's what you were born to do. And maybe, if you believe in past lives, maybe you were all together in different past lives and you did have different roles in the family. But in this lifetime, that is yours. And just focus on yours, and maybe they'll start focusing on theirs and you'll do it at the same time. But you're responsible for yours.
Thank you.
Tell us.
And this is what a wealthy woman looks like.
By the way, at the last couple of events, Mark was like, you're not solving any of their problems in the questions they're asking. So I'm like, they think they want me to give them a solution, but they don't. I just need to tell them, like, yeah, go do your work. It's really simple, because it is most of the time. The answer to most of this stuff was always like, cool, yeah, like, go work on that. I don't know the answers to everything. It's like, but I know that if you work on your stuff, go write down a list of everything you're scared about, that's going to give you really valuable information to clear. So screw you, Mark. No, but he's like, because men love solving problems, you know. And if Mark was here, he would like give you a 15-point strategy and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, but that's not what you need. We've all got so many strategies now. We don't need more information. We just need to go and do the work, the internal work, and feel really good about that. Hi.
Hi, my name is Mira.
Hi, Mira.
I'm a gardener and horticulturist. I work at a few private estates upstate.
Ooh, so you're around rich people all the time?
Billionaires and celebrities, yes.
How cool is that?
So kind of behind the scenes, knowing what's going on. Anyway, I started a blog last year, so I'm hoping to turn that into a successful and inspiring business, online business.
And you can.
Yes. So my question, since I have the opportunity that you're here, I went through your boot camp, the last live round, and it was awesome. Thank you. And all the exercises were just so cool, and the concepts were so neat. And I was just wondering, how do you come up with them? Like, what's your creative process? Like, does it come to you in the shower, or are you like developing and distilling things you learn about, or like, for instance, when you do a visualization in a live call, like, do you write that down and rehearse it? Do you workshop it with someone, or do you just like, oh, I'm just going to try this?
That's a really great question. I do think that the work that I created in like boot camp and manifesting course, I mean, if you break it all down, most of it's not what I didn't make up tapping, for example, right? But I think it's an amazing tool. So I love curating all the best tools. And I think I just kind of really downloaded how that work would come together about 5 years ago. And then I do get ideas in the shower, but I also trust and believe in divine downloads in the moment. Like, I don't prepare a lot for talks and speeches and things because I just trust. And I used to blame myself for that, especially because Mark's the opposite. Mark will, rehearse for months and months and months because he needs that. Whereas I used to do that, and then I felt like the magic had died. So I had to trust that I'd step on stage and like something good would come out. The real answer to that is, I think for everybody, is know yourself. Do a lot of work. Personality tests are great. Just know yourself more and more, because then you can work to your strengths. And there's no right or wrong way to do anything. It's just what is like purely in your skill set and how you can work to that, because then money will follow the path of least resistance. If you try and do it like someone else, or you beat yourself up about, oh, I don't do it like this, this and this, you kind of lose the opportunity for money to flow. So know yourself, and also give yourself permission that it's okay to be who you are, and you can still make money exactly how you are. You don't have to change anything about yourself.
Yeah, I love that concept of no man's land. That was really cool.
Yeah, cool. Tell us.
All right, so this is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Thank you for claiming that. Okay, hi. Hi.
So my name is Adri, and now I understand why everybody pick it up, because it's low. My name is Adri, and what I do is that's my question. I do two things.
Okay.
One is I create positioning for companies that are conscious, for brands that are conscious.
Great.
And I am so good. I'm so good at it. And the transformation.
Claim that. Yeah, I love
but
it.
It's so true. I wouldn't be able to say it.
Yeah.
And I make from companies that are unknown, in their first 6 months, they reach $1 million. Another client in 8 months, $1 million, because of this positioning that I create for them. Okay, so this is one thing that I do.
Okay.
And I love doing it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do is I teach about quantum sexuality, is the quantum physics of sex.
Wow.
.com.
Wow.
And
That's great.
And it's sexuality seen from another angle. Mm-hmm. So the path to sexuality coming from your soul instead of it's not your body anymore.
Yeah.
So it just brings a more simple way to see instead of, and also it makes it more special without being woo-woo and without being, okay. So this is
what's your question?
This is the second thing that I do, and I do so well too. I have people going through transformations, and I'm for years, Denise. I'm debating with these two things. I'm debating because I feel like I honestly feel what you said about the one road to the boot camp.
You're allowed to have both, but have a clear path to both. Honestly, because that's what it means. It's just like, just be really clear, have clarity around it. You're allowed to have two businesses. That's totally fine. But just make sure there's a clear path to both ones. And maybe you put on like a different hat almost, and you very clearly, okay, I'm going to spend this amount of time on this one, I'm going to spend this amount of time on this one. One can be your main business, one can be your hobby and your give back business. There are no rules. This is your life, your business, and you're totally allowed to do what you want. You can serve in any way you want. So are you conflicted about that? Like, do you go in and out of them?
I'm not conflicted. This is the thing. I'm not conflicted. I'm so fully into one when I'm doing and I'm and fully into the other, and I'm really, it flows. I'm not conflicted. I just think that this idea haunts me. It's almost like I have to get to a point that I'm going to decide. And when is this point coming?
Only if you're making no money out of either. That's what I would say for those of you who are multi-passionate. Who's multi-passionate in this room? Okay, heaps of us, right? So it's like, if that's working for you, do it. But when you're in that space of whatever that business is that you're doing or that different thing, that's when you can have that clarity of focus. But you can totally do both. But if you're making no money out of any of them, then cut some off. Or like, just leave some for a hobby or whatever. but that's okay. Give yourself permission to be an amazing, like, divine sex quantum thing, which I have to go check that out. That sounds amazing. And for the amazing work that you do. And it's okay. You're a wealthy, multi-passionate woman.
Yes, I am making money with both of them.
Perfect.
It's just like I think this thing in my mind that I have to decide.
Yep. When you're wearing your hat for the quantum sex hat, be really clear. Quantum sex, it's amazing. When you're in the other one, be really clear. That's it. You can do it.
Wow, that sounds so wonderful. It's like a permission.
Yes. Yeah. You have permission. Can we just give her permission, please? You have permission.
It's amazing.
Tell us what a wealthy woman looks like.
This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Yes. A wealthy, multi-passionate woman. Yeah.
Wow.
Hi.
Hi everyone. I feel like our beliefs and blocks are kind of interconnected and we
Totally
have the same blocks. So I've been working on this belief that I've noticed that I have with my partner because last year my business was doing very well. And now that I have this lovely partner, my income has been going down every month. And I'm doing the tapping, but it's like I feel guilty or...
Yeah. Okay, who else has this? Who else has this?
No one.
No, yeah. This is one of the biggest things I see for women, is they feel they have to choose between love and money. And why would you choose money over love? So as long as you have that deep belief that you have to choose, you will always create this situation. So if your business is doing really well, your relationship will go to shit. If you're feeling really loved up, you'll neglect your business and it will die. So you don't have to choose. It's safe for you to have love and money. And every single person in this room has their own version of this. So for some of you, you think, I can be a good mother or I can have money. Or I can have a great relationship and I can have money. Or I can have great health. Who has that one? I can have my health or I can have business. And then you start to burn out and you just can't balance it. So it's really, really normal and it's just a choice that you've decided. And maybe there's some memories to clear. Maybe you have seen situations where people didn't, it was like that. That's the stuff you have to work on and give yourself permission. It's safe for you to have both love and money. You don't have to choose. Yeah. It's really common.
Yeah, because I feel that I'm creating this situation where I'm becoming dependent on him when I know that I can be independent.
Yeah, because you don't think you're allowed to have both, and you are. So for anyone who's got that, write a list of all the things that, like the worst case scenario. And if your business was really successful, it could be like, well, my partner will be emasculated, it will be this, my friends will hate me, whatever. And same on the other side, if I had a really great relationship, what would be the worst case scenario? Because that just gives you really good stuff to clear, and you might see old memories or old patterns or things that you can just release and let go of, and then that gives you permission to have both because you're not scared about the consequences anymore.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a mantra for that?
I think it could be that. It's safe for me to have money and love. Okay. Yeah. I really love It's Safe mantras because that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to tell that little scared girl inside you or tell that wounded part of yourself that it's safe. It's safe for you to have these things. Nothing bad is going to happen. And that could be enough for you to clear it. Or you might have to analyze it a little bit and go see what other situations you've seen and why. But mostly it's it's safe for me to have both.
Okay, thank you.
Tell us what a wealthy woman looks like.
This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Yes. Okay, 2 more. Hi, gorgeous.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Nikki Nash, and I'm a success coach for new and early stage coaches. Cool. And my question is around clarity. And when I started my business, it was really easy for me to be like, I want a 5K month. And then it happened. And
love it.
But now it's as I've done more personal development and I've read places where you have the money has to have a purpose and you have to know what you're going to do with it. And now I just spin my wheels but what if I ask for this amount of money and then I'm doing a launch and what if it's not enough? And I notice that the money's not flowing.
You've stopped feeling your happy thoughts and you've crashed to the ground because you're intellectualizing it, you're overthinking it maybe. Yeah. So being an instant manifester, it's a really amazing skill. Yeah. And that's what you have. So don't overthink it. Don't start to think it's a fluke or that you have to do manifesting in the way that other people do. It's okay for you to manifest money easily. Okay. But why isn't it? That's your homework.
Yeah.
Why was it okay for you to do those 5,000 ones with ease? Why is it not okay for you to do that at the next level?
Yeah, it's the amount of money for me, so I'll dig into that.
Yes. And there's a few different things I want you to dig into, like who would really be affected in your life by you making more money? Who would be offended? Who would be threatened? Who would you worry about them judging you? Just some things to dig into, because I find that a lot of people, they get stuck, and there's always something symbolic about where they get stuck, and this is the sort of stuff we do in the boot camp, by the way, and I give you all these examples about what it could be. Sometimes for some people it's a tax bracket thing, or it's like the same salary as someone else in your family, and so you're just unconsciously holding yourself back there. But you know what? The same skill that helped you to do those 5,000 months is the same skill that would help you to do $50,000 months. It's the same thing, it's just an extra zero, but it's the same skill set. So you have to believe that it's okay for you to also make more money. But you got to dig into it. Are you in the boot camp?
Well, my friend was in LA and she's like, you get a discount if you do boot camp afterwards, because I was just about to buy it. So I will.
Yeah.
As soon as I get that email.
Okay, perfect. I love it. And if you don't, just send us a note at info@luckybitch.com so we can take care of you. Okay, tell us what a wealthy woman looks like.
This is what a wealthy woman looks like. Thank you.
This is why I love doing that too, because we've had all ages and amazing different professions and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, this is what wealthy women look like. It looks like us. It looks like the people in this room. I love it. All right, lucky last.
Right.
Hi.
So
No pressure.
I feel like through all of the questions, I've already kind of had my question answered, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm Regina Alv, by the way, and if I'm being honest, I've only ever been introduced to you about a week ago through a different community, Unstoppable Women Entrepreneurs.
Yay.
I don't know if anybody else is here, right, Sarah Dan. And I'm fairly new to the entrepreneurial world. Having my son is what made me realize my power. Like, not only did I make it with my body, but 72 hours of labor and this and that, and I just want to be everything for him, right? And he's what gives me my power. And I hope whoever talked over there about working with parents is still here, because I'm going to take this opportunity to connect with you, okay? I need to ask you a couple of questions. So my question, I guess, I'm developing my brand and what I think I want to do, and it's working with parents. And over here, underneath, I'm also an independent team Beachbody coach, right? So I have both things going on. I feel like I have a lot of time spent thinking about that stigma of MLMs, right? And my question to you is, when is it okay? I don't want to have like a confrontation with haters, but is it okay, do you feel like it's okay to address certain topics that may be on people's mind just to kind of put it to bed? Or is it like a waste of time and like a negative space to be in? And
it totally depends. So the first thing I want to say is I actually don't get a lot of haters. So I don't want everyone to think that it's just an inevitable part of getting bigger, that you're going to get tons and tons of hate mail and things like that. It actually doesn't happen a lot for me. The other thing is that the more you're in your business, the more you make more money, you can set boundaries in your life as well. So I don't get email. So I might get tons of hate mail. I actually don't read it. But also, I've asked my team, at the start of the business, they used to send me like love notes of like, oh, you're so amazing. And I said, if the hate mail isn't real, those ones aren't real either, in a way. So I just decided that I was going to have this equilibrium of love and acceptance for myself. So that is my self-practice. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So I'm always here, steady. I'm not like, they love me, they hate me, they love me, they hate me. I'm like, I love me and I approve of me. And that has really helped. So then if a hater does come along or someone who's arguing with me, it doesn't change how I feel about myself. And then you can make a powerful decision in the moment. You can delete them, you can block them, you can respond to them if you want, just so you can see, so other people in your community sees that it's not a big deal when you can respond and just be in your power around it. You can choose, but it's not going to change the way you feel about yourself fundamentally. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I guess I spend too much time thinking like that I need to justify it, and I don't, and I'm learning that.
Yes. What is that thing? It's like, you are not an asshole whisperer or asshole whisperer. It's like you can spend all your time doing that, but it's like, just focus on the good stuff that yeah.
Right. And I feel like diving into the whole parenting thing is like to try and believe that other people aren't going to believe that I'm a bitch for telling them what to do with their kids, but that's not what it's about, right?
No. And that's okay. People can have their opinions. That's okay. You have your opinions on other stuff, I'm sure, too.
Right.
But I deeply and completely love and accept myself will help with that.
Right. And I'm so glad that I was introduced to you, and this was incredible, and thank you so much for
Well,
what
I'm glad you could come.
come.
Tell us what a wealthy woman looks like.
This is what a wealthy woman looks like.
Yeah. Thank you. Alrighty. Okay. So, the planet needs you, all of us, to play your part. That does not mean you have to be suddenly something different to what you are. You don't have to turn into an extrovert. You don't have to have a big following. You don't have to have a big business if you don't want to. But the planet still needs you to play your part. The planet needs you and the planet needs us. And the planet needs us to stick together, have each other's backs, to tell each other, hey, you can do it too. It's really important, not just for us, but for the next generation as well. The next generation, if we tell her girls can change the world, boys can change the world too. So please stand up. Hey. Hold hands with someone beside you. Okay. Oh my God, I've been saying this mantra, it's our time, and it's my time for years, but it really feels like the time, right? It's like, okay, so let's just say that together. It's like, it's our time and we're ready for the next step. And then say, it's my time. So really claim it for yourself. It's my time and I'm ready for the next step. Yes, it totally is your time and it's our time. Thank you so much for joining me. I've loved being here in New York. Oh my God, thank you so much. It's wonderful. Yay. I'll be at the back later if you want to take a picture. I'm here for you, and I'm always here for you online because I really believe it's our time, and I'm so grateful to be serving this community. Thanks, guys. Thank you.